All right, y'all. So I just got back from watching the Masters of the Universe movie, and oh my goodness gracious, y'all. That was a nerd's dream. That movie went so freaking well. Like, as the little kid inside me, if I wanted to see a live action version of He Man and all of his friends and Skeletor and everybody else, it looks like this movie. Not like, no joke. It the movie looks like the He-Man from back in the day with Dolph Lundgren. It looks like their vision realized. Like back in the day when they didn't have the technology and they didn't have the means to actually make what was in their mind, this movie looks like what their dream actually looks like. It went so dang well. I loved it so much. The movie was nearly perfect. The setting of the movie, Eternos, or if you want, prefer to say Eternia, it was so vibrant. It looked so pretty. It had enchanted forests. It had griffins. It had dragons. Of course, it has a green tiger in it. It had all the various characters. Eternia itself, the land, it looked great. It was very pretty. It was very in depth. The setting was there. Nothing wrong there. The music, it was very hero moment-ish, I guess I would say. Like it sounded a bit 80s and kind of cheesy, but it's like it gets you ready for the power up moment where you have to get ready to fight, and it was like that all the way through the movie, and I kind of liked it. I liked the music for this movie. It went pretty well. The pacing of the movie, well, it's a 2 hour long movie, so it had plenty of time to work with. The pacing was fine. From the malaise of being on Earth to the return to Eternia to the rise to the hero moment, the people being subjugated and the rescue and all that stuff and the fighting, everything was placed out pretty well. The pacing was great. I liked it. Like I said, the movie, it was nearly perfect. The characters is where it's at. Oh my goodness, the characters were so good. Everything that you were worried about, like this version of He-Man, this modern day live action version, how is it going to work? How are they going to do Man at Arms since there's a race swap, and the live action version with the armor and the armament and how the weapons are going to look, and switching out the weapons with Trap Jaw? How's all the mechanics going to work? Everything you're worried about, like Skeletor, because he's a talking skeleton, they don't want to take you out of the movie. How's it going to look when he starts talking? Evil Land, how does the magic going to look? Skeletor's magic, how is it going to look? A green talking tiger, how's that going to look? Is it going to look at least a little bit natural? Everything you might be worried about, you don't have to worry about in this movie. It went so smooth. Like I said, the the back in the day version with Dolph Lundgren, that He-Man movie, it looks like what this movie looks like what that movie should have been. It looks perfectly smooth seeing Skeletor speak, seeing a green tiger talk. On Eternia, it looks just normal. And while you're watching the movie, it's like, oh, so that's how that might have worked. It works out fine. But yeah, the characters, it went great. I was worried that this new slimmer down version of He-Man, how's it gonna work out? It works out fine. His acting is good, and his portrayal of He-Man and how he rises to the occasion in his big hero moment and finding the power within himself and using the lessons he learned from Earth and applying them to real world situations on Eternia, it worked out so well. His action scenes, they were great. Interacting with Skeletor, that went perfectly well. He-Man did such a great job. The actor that played He-Man, he did great. He did such an excellent job. I was a little worried about that because it's live action and the cartoon is so campy, but it worked out perfect in live action. Teela, I like her. Well, first of all, Teela is way, way less annoying in live action as she is in the cartoon. I very much enjoy Teela's version in live action. I like how she interacts with Adam, and they have this kind of relationship where, well, first they have the will they want they thing going on, and it's like this undertone of romantic feelings, but they're just friends, and you just kind of wonder when you see them interact with each other. But in this movie, they act as each other's moral compass, and they keep each other on the right track and keep each other grounded and focused. And I like that relationship that they have with each other. Queen Marlena, that is one of the few, very, very few bad parts of the movie, King Randor and Queen Marlena. But I'll expound on that later. The villains of the movie in live action, it is so much better. Like in the cartoon, they're silly and they're campy, and you just never take them serious, even though you're looking at a literal beast man. You just never take them serious. You looking at some guy that has interchangeable weapons in his body, but you never take him serious in the cartoon. In the live action, it is very serious. It's very serious looking. Seeing Trapjaw in live action, he is much more competent a warrior in this movie. Now, Beastman and people like Spy Core, stuff like that, characters like that, they look absolutely terrifying. I mean, Beastman looks freaking scary in the movie. He's dumb and easy to trick, but he looks freaking scary. Evil-Lyn, girl's a little bit of a masochist in this movie. I was worried why they chose Alison Brie to play Evil-Lyn, but in this live action, you can see why. Because Jared Leto is Skeletor and the dude's funny, so you got to have somebody balance out his comedy. And Alison Brie does it perfect as Evil-Lyn. She did a great job as Evil-Lyn. You could tell that she kind of covets Skeletor's power, but she works for him, so now it's not the time for all that. And she's got magic that, quite frankly, kind of dwarfs Skeletor's magic, but he has the Havoc staff, so he's in charge. But anyway, Alison Brie did a great job as Evil-Lyn. Now, my second favorite part of the movie was Man-at-Arms. Now, in the cartoon Man-at-Arms, his proficiency in battle and his usefulness for the kingdom and what he does for everybody is kind of implied in the cartoon, where you just are supposed to know he's useful. But in the live action, you directly see how useful he is. Idris Elba did a magnificent job as Man-at-Arms. He was so dang good. He was to be taken serious, and it was like my second favorite part of the movie was seeing his redemption arc, his failure to his rise to hero moment and making his daughter proud of him, that was my second favorite part of the movie. Now, my absolute favorite part of the movie is Skeletor himself. I know it's about He-Man and his friends, but my favorite part of the movie was Skeletor himself. Whoever thought Jared Leto should be Skeletor, that guy's a genius. Jared Leto as Skeletor was a perfect choice. Having some like bodybuilder stand in with Jared Leto as the voice of Skeletor, it worked out so well. That mixture worked out perfect. I mean, Jared Leto is so freaking funny in this movie, but as Skeletor, when you seeing some He-Man sized blue dude with a havoc staff in his hand and he's a talking skeleton, you don't even want to laugh at him. He's telling such great jokes and he's so funny, but you be so nervous to laugh at him. You be so nervous to laugh at the jokes, and for a good reason, because although he's funny, he's freaking terrifying. And if you laugh at the wrong moment, he will absolutely melt you. Like literally melt you into mulch. The dude is terrifying. He's funny because it's Jared Leto speaking, but he's also some terrifying overlord that will kill you on a whim. And he shows that a lot in the movie. Like, I know this is a Masters of the Universe and the cartoon is sort of campy, but man, it's a lot of death in this movie. And to be honest, they snuck in a couple adult jokes in this movie as well, between Ram Man and Fisto. I mean, once you think about it, the guy's name is Fisto. And the other guy's name is Ram Man. So needless to say, they snuck a couple adult jokes in there. And Teela herself, she has a little bit of a potty mouth. And the kind of masochism that's vibing off of Evil Lyn, yeah, they snuck a couple of adult moments in there. But yeah, the characters were amazing. Seeing them in live action form was so freaking great. It worked out even better in the cartoon than the cartoon. The cartoon was great for what it was, and I enjoyed that, but seeing it in live action, it worked out even better. Now, the storyline itself, I like the direction it took. It feels like He-Man was some sort of Superman stand-in, but as far as the story itself goes, it felt like a mix between Aquaman and Lion King, where they sent the royal person to Earth for his own safety because it was going down in the other land, and they don't want the royal family to die off, so they sent the person off to Earth for their own safety. And that's like the Aquaman portion of it. But then the evil the evil villain of the movie, he has desecrated the land and subjugated the people. But now the royal person has to come back and free the people and defeat the evil villain. And that's what seems like the Lion King portion. So yeah, it seems like a mix between Aquaman and the Lion King with like a Superman stand-in, and that's He-Man himself. At least that's what it feels like to me. But I would say the only bad part of the movie is like the same as it is in the cartoon. And that would be King Randor and Queen Marlena. I never liked King Randor. I didn't like him in the cartoon. I didn't like him in the live action. He had this weird fatherly want to be a good father moment in the live action, and like if you see if you've seen the cartoon, you know that role belongs to Queen Marlena, but it's like they stripped Marlena of her entire personality in the live action, and they gave all of her personality to King Randor, and it just doesn't work. Seeing freaking Solomon Kane, James Purefoy try to speak life into He-Man, it just didn't work for me. But that is the only part that I didn't like about the movie. That's the only part. Even Cringer was better in live action. Like, don't get me wrong, he's still a Cringer. He's still a coward. But even he had some moments where he was ready to scrap, and he did. Like, he got down and dirty with it a little bit. But the characters, oh my gosh, they were so great. The movie itself was so well. I like the whole malaise of being on Earth, and then it's like while he was on Earth, he learned some lessons working these menial jobs. And when he goes back to Eternia, he takes those lessons that he learned from Earth and he applied it to the people of Eternia. And that's how he freed the people, using the lessons that he learned from Earth. And I like that. In fact, if you watch the cartoon, there is the sort of final episode, The Problem with Power. If you've seen that episode, you saw what the problem with power was and what happened with He-Man and how he had to learn how to control his power. And he learned a good life lesson in that episode. That life lesson was a plot in this movie, and it worked out so well. I loved it. It worked out so great. Yeah, this live action version of Masters of the Universe, oh my goodness gracious, it was so freaking great. I loved it so much. Man, when this comes out on DVD, I'm immediately buying it. I have to give this movie, me myself, I can't speak for nobody else, just me looking at it, early viewing, I gotta give it a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10. But that's only because I didn't like King Randor and how they stripped Queen Marlena of her personality. That's the only bad part. Everything else was so great. Man at Arms was amazing. Idris Elba was freaking great. And in case you're wondering, there's 2 after credit scene. If you want to stick behind and see those after credit scene, you will adore it. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. You'll adore it. It is such a great movie. Like I said, I got to give it a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10. Great job, everyone. Great job. And yeah, that's me and my review of the Masters of the Universe movie. So if you wanted to see it, you really should. It is going to make the nerd in you very happy. It did for me. And man, after seeing this, they got to make a sequel to this. They got to make a sequel. Oh my gosh. They need to get started on the sequel yesterday. I would really love for this this formula that they have right now with the whole technology and the storyline and the characters that they got right now. Take this formula and make a sequel. They really should do that. I can't hardly wait, man. This is great. This worked out like even better than the live action Mortal Kombat movies. Masters of the Universe, it gets an A for me. And that's my review.